I saw a dude driving an Infiniti G35 the other day, and he looked way too comfortable. There is no way that car has you feeling that badass. Anyway, this is what your car brand says about you, part 2. Starting off with Infiniti.
This is a strong one, fellas.
On paper, Infinitis are good cars. They're reliable-ish and cheap and perform pretty well, but I'm not gonna lie guys, if you're driving one of these, you're probably on your way to the mall in some pajama pants, rocking Edgar cut and looking for talky girls. No hate at all, this is just the Infiniti demographic. Something that sucks about Infinitis is that 95% of them are automatics. Driving an automatic isn't exactly a bad thing, but I find manuals to be a lot more enjoyable. Especially if the automatic transmission is so ass that you have to help it shift with the throttle pedal. The good thing about Infinitis is that they're not a bad base to build off of. Most of the time they have 6-cylinder engines with a pretty good chassis. You'll probably see some people shredding these at the track or local drift course, since they're really good cars for the price. Other than seeing them at the track, expect to spot a couple of these lonely Infinitis enjoying their local 4-way intersection in the middle of the night. A lot of people that buy Infinitis won't really do any mods other than stick some LED lights inside of them and maybe some questionable rims. Of course they have to have a 3-inch straight pipe from the headers back, but otherwise these things are stock. If you're into big chaotic battles with tanks, jets, and even ships, War Thunder is for you then. Forget everything you know about war games. War Thunder is a free-to-play, large-scale multiplayer action game that'll bring you a storm of unforgettable experiences. Fight in the skies, assault enemy positions on the ground, or send your foes to the bottom of the ocean, all in one game. There's a ton of vehicles, and they all feel different from one another, and the damage is actually satisfying. Instead of just generic health bars, you hit a certain part of the enemy's vehicle, and it could actually impact the way they play. Like if you hit a tank's tracks, they're stuck now. The X-ray cam shows what your shot hit, so you can literally see why it worked. It also has advanced stuff like guided weapons, smoke, night vision, and protection systems, so it's not just point and shoot. And you can upgrade and customize your vehicles with the modules and visuals, so your vehicles don't look like everyone else's. And the new update, Line of Contact, makes everything even bigger. Infantry is now a part of the game in a closed testing mode, so battles feel more like a war zone with infantry vehicles and aircraft involved. They also added new vehicles like the Terminator combat vehicle, the Ajax tank, and modern aircraft like the Typhoon and the Super Hornet. Plus, the winter map Poland got reworked, and the graphics and sound got improved too. Download War Thunder for free on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox using the link at the very top of the description. New players and anyone who hasn't played it for 6 months or more can get bonuses like 100,000 Silver Lions, the Eagle of Valor, Decorator, and more. If you want to play it on your phone, War Thunder Mobile is also free on iOS and Android. Use the other link at the top and you're in. When I think Audi, I think fierce, competitive, classy, the pinnacle of German engineering.
Almost because BMW is better, of course.
One Audi that comes to mind is the Sport Quattro. It's a fucking beast that crushed the Group B competition. Or the Audi R8, a genius billionaire playboy philanthropist's favorite car, Tony Stark. And of course, the Audi RS6, a luxury car that can get down and dirty. Owning an Audi isn't about being flashy and showing off. They're about showing up, getting the job done, and destroying the competition while doing so. If you drive an Audi, you're a humble guy who knows his cars. You're classy, and you probably have a Richard Mille, and you maintain your car properly, doing everything to spec. Audis are great cars. They have power, balance, comfort, and they have fashion. But most importantly, and probably what they're most well known for, is their impeccable 5-cylinder engines. These things sound amazing. What sets Audi's 5-cylinder engines apart from others is the fact that they are built to be used and abused, where other 5-cylinder engines are built more to commute to work and back. Modern Audi 5-cylinder engines are built mostly out of iron rather than aluminum, which helps it take a way harder beating than those regular aluminum blocks that you'll find on most economy cars. Audi also designed their modern 5-cylinders to have huge main journals for smoother rotation and better lubrication, thick crank webs for added strength and rigidity, stronger rods to handle loads of boost, and a deeper engine block skirt adding to the strength of the engine. I mean, these things can handle loads of boost and run like 700 horsepower on stock internals. Not to mention, those Audi cylinder walls are thicker than an Infiniti driver's passenger princess, which lets these engines run crazy numbers on pump gas. And I didn't even mention how good their all-wheel drive system is, but I think their record in rally speaks for itself. Anyway, Audi is really good at over-engineering stuff, which can lead to higher prices and more expensive maintenance costs, but Audi owners know it's definitely worth it, and they can probably afford it. Volkswagen. Honestly, when I think of Volkswagen, I think mom car or maybe like a cheap-ass front-wheel drive piece of shit. If you're driving a Volkswagen, you might be a broke high schooler who's crashed their car more times than they've skipped their homeroom class. Or maybe you're just a humble car enthusiast who low-key doesn't ask for much. You like to take your scenic drives along the back roads and kind of stay out of harm's way. But Volkswagen is a lot more than meets the eye. These dudes own Audi, Porsche, Lamborghini, Bentley, Bugatti, Skoda, Ducati, and some other weird European companies. So it's safe to say Volkswagen knows exactly what they're doing. And they have hella resources at their disposal to make a good car. Unfortunately, Volkswagen really only focuses on making economy cars, so they're mostly low-key boring. Other than the Beetle, of course. I mean, this is a classic. Who doesn't love a Beetle? And then you have the Golf GTI or R. These cars are pretty good other than the GTI being front-wheel drive. They're well balanced, they have short wheelbases, and are pretty practical and super moddable. I think these cars kind of get a bad rep because most of the demographic that owns them is kind of broccoli head TikTokers, but these cars really are not a joke. And even the newer ones have a manual option, which is super fun. Honestly, a practical, fun, compact car didn't really exist before the GTI. The GTI paved the roads for this category and it did it really well. That's why we see Civics, Corollas, Ford Focuses, so we have Volkswagen to thank for all that, kinda. I also think Volkswagen vans are pretty cool too. They have a nice vibe to them. But probably the most praised thing to come out of Volkswagen would be the inline 4 1.9 TDI. These things are absolutely... Inside the engines, there's a forged crank and huge bearings inside a cast iron block with low RPM, high compression. Just tuning these engines could get you up to 300 horsepower, not to mention their iconic sound. Volkswagen. Jeep. Guys, if you drive a Jeep, what are we doing? If you drive a Jeep, you definitely get Starbucks every morning and order a mocha spice pumpkin latte or some bullshit. And you only use the off-roading suspension to get over curbs at that same Starbucks. Jeeps aren't necessarily bad besides the death wobbles at 25 miles an hour. I'd say it's more of a community issue. Although the company itself has been messing up a bit too. Take something like the Rubicon for example. That thing costs more than a Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro. Even a used Porsche Cayenne is cheaper than a Rubicon. And to be honest, the Porsche would probably last longer on a dirt road than the Jeep. Just one drop of water on a precious Jeep sensor will cost 8 bands to fix. There are, however, some very acceptable Jeeps. The XJs, CJs, TJs, maybe even some of the ZJs and WJs. Overall, if you know what you're doing when you're driving a Jeep and you have one of the good ones, you get a pass. The other Jeeps, just stick to collecting ducks. Mitsubishi is a hard one. There's so many good things about this brand and so many bad ones. If you're driving a Mitsubishi, you either have crazy ball knowledge and a love for cars, or you're a grandma looking to buy a cheap EV or economy car. At first, Mitsubishi was pumping out crazy cars, and it really seemed like they were going somewhere. But then they decided to become boring. This awesome company started making stupid, boring economy cars that were low-key terrible, and now they're making EVs. What happened? They used to be a golden company that could have gone big. They made bangers like the Lancer Evolution, which was a WRX killer, and it has crazy good all-wheel drive. It has a fucking active center diff, mechanical LSDs, torque biasing, all that good stuff. The engine was an inline 4, not some lame-ass boxer that could boost more than Yamaha. They're reliable engines too. They also made cars like the Galant VR4, which is low-key an underground sleeper. 4 doors, 4 cylinders, 4-wheel drive steering, 4-wheel drive. That thing was diabolical. And then they went and made some other cars like the Eclipse and the 3000 GT, which were cool but not quite as peak. Mitsubishi guys low-key know what they're doing, and they're humble about having such cool cars, except for the Instagram comments talking about
My Evo will gap your Subaru twin.
and then they don't actually even have a car. Ferrari. Guys, if you own a Ferrari, you're low-key too rich to even flex it. Of course, there will be Ferrari owners who take their cars to Cars and Coffee or something, but I find that a lot of people buy Ferrari for the brand rather than the car, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because most of the time, Ferrari owners are too rich to even care. Ferrari is high-key based though, because if you want to buy a Ferrari, you have to be lit and respected. It's not like you can just walk into a dealership and buy a Ferrari. You need to have background checks run on you, and you kind of need to be tight with the dealership. So really, owning a Ferrari is like being in an exclusive club. Ferrari guys, for the most part, are the chillest rich dudes. If you like Ferrari, but you're not quite in the financial situation to drop a bag on a red piece of metal, you're still cool because Ferrari fans are low-key based too. Ferrari has good teams and makes great cars. Other than the Ferrari F1 team, they never win anything, and they always have the worst strategy calls, like sending a driver onto a wet-ass course on slick tires. But other than F1, they definitely dominate dominate. They have a good run going in the World Endurance Championship right now with their crazy good Ferrari 499P hypercar, which sounds fucking amazing, by the way. And they have historically always done well in racing. Saturn. Who the hell is driving a Saturn, bro? Dead ass? If you're into cars and have a Saturn, please, bro, please get something new. Even if you have to take out a loan, just do it. The body panels of these cars are dead ass made of
Plastic.
I'm not even kidding. This brand makes actual Lego cars. If you're driving one of these, you might be off some shit and you definitely have hit multiple pedestrians. Saturn was born when GM created it as a new company to compete with reliable, cheap Japanese imports. All hate aside, they're super reliable, super cheap, and super durable. GM actually had to take funding away from Saturn since they were outperforming GM cars at the time. Even though they're super cheap and reliable, they still suck. If you drive a Saturn, bro, please just sell it. Chrysler drivers, you guys have aura, but not the good looking aura. More of like a trained assassin, overqualified old man type of aura. If you're driving a Chrysler, you're low-key just Mike Ehrmantraut from Breaking Bad. And you're probably doing quick jobs for cash and low-key might be making bank. I can't lie though, if you're rocking a car like a blacked out Chrysler 300 with some sick mods, you're kinda cooking. Your car taste is unique but based. You're swagging out with your Rolex, sipping on Henny while you're blasting down the road on your 6.4 liter V8, rocking out to that one Despicable Me song. You love the comfort of your car and it still makes nice power. I mean, this company has been on the verge of bankruptcy multiple times and they were like,
Let's put a 500 horsepower engine in a grocery getter.
and then all of a sudden it's a cool brand again.